Today we show how to make ISS videos with our telescopes. You may already have seen the ISS still images which Damien Peach has processed from our video footage. Let's first take a look at some video images which we made during 3 different passes. I have made all the image processing with DaVinci Resolve, where the basic version is free. For example, here on the left side, the image of the ISS has been derotated, so it always shows the same angle. So let's start with the auto-guiding now. In this project, the main camera is mounted on an ASA AZ800mm telescope with 5400mm focal length. Then there's a little viewfinder with 50mm aperture and 200mm focal length mounted piggyback on the main telescope. Our autoguider software is running in sequence, and the first thing you have to do is to digitally align the viewfinder to the main telescope. So what you are basically doing is center a star in the main camera and then tell sequence that now the star is aligned in the main camera, so it can offset the crosshair of the guide camera. We are now slewing to the start position, where we will wait for the ISS to reach the minimum altitude. The sun is just below the horizon, so the exposure time of the guider is super short with less than 1 millisecond. There's also a center button in the autoguider menu, where you can make one center push before you start autoguiding. I started the autoguiding as soon as I got reliable readouts from the ISS. The autoguiding is good enough to keep the ISS quite well centered within the very small field of view of the main camera. The next example is an ISS track during bright daylight conditions. In this case, the contrast to the bright sky is too bad for the guider, so we have to do some manual adjustments to the path. There is a manual control panel where you can make path adjustments along the track and perpendicular to the track. Today, the TLE we downloaded through internet were very good, and the ISS is already visible in the field of view of the 5-meter focal length telescope. We are now doing a few pushes on the manual controls to get the ISS more centered, and we are also reducing the field of view to get a higher frame rate. Since you don't want to have your histogram saturated, it's really important that you reduce the exposure time, even if the ISS then looks a little bit too dark. In the center of the screen you can now see a zoom of the ISS during this pass. Contrast and size has been adjusted and noise has been reduced. Of course, in the beginning the seeing is very bad and the ISS is still very low, but this will get much better.